What's up, guys? Welcome back to ReviewSpace, and today I just want to talk about some of the hottest, highly anticipated games, upcoming games of the rest of 2012. Now that obviously the first half of 2012 has come and gone, we've seen some big titles come out this year, but let's talk about some of the upcoming games that have yet to be released. Starting with, let's start with late July. We have, what's the biggest thing? Prototype 2 for the Windows, so it's going to come out for PC. But that game's already come out. 25, Racketeer, I don't know what the heck that is. Xbox Live, it's an arcade game. Xbox Live arcade game. Orcs Must Die 2, coming out July 30th, Windows. Kingdom Hearts 3D, Dream Drop Distance for the 3DS. So we have a Kingdom Hearts 3D game. Not really a big fan of Kingdom Hearts. I actually never liked... I had Kingdom Hearts 2 years ago. I never liked it. We have Risen 2 Dark Waters. Okay, this one seems to be a bigger game. PS3 and Xbox 360. Risen 2 Dark Waters. It's a single-player fantasy-themed action RPG and the sequel to Risen by Piranha Bytes. And what is this game gonna be like? Begins in the Fortress of Crystal at the port of Caldera, and it's supposed to be some action RPG style of game. It looks like released for PS3, 360, and Caldera are aflame as ancient gods called Titans assail the land to the north. Two of the Titans, Ursugor and Ismael, have fallen to fighting each other. The main character has no name and is simply called the Nameless Hero. The main character of Risen 2 is the same hero in the first Risen. After the events of Risen, he fled with the soldiers of the Inquisition and joined with them, as they were then the last real remnants of organized humanity. He is now older and wiser, and in the face of catastrophe, he has become a frequent and heavy alcohol drinker. The player doesn't choose his character or his class. One gains glory points XP as rewards for fighting monsters and solving quests. Alright, let's keep going. Now we got, August. Deadlight for the Xbox Live Arcade. August 7th, Persona 4 Arena. Persona 4? That's... wow. They have a fighting game of Persona. That's really interesting. It's a fighting game developed by Arc System Works based on the Shin Megami Tensei Persona series by Atlus. I can't even believe it. They have a fighting game that's going to come out for the PS3 and 360. And it's a freaking Persona fighter. That's so bizarre. I don't know. I just find it so weird. A fighting game? Now, how is this gonna... oh yeah, it's a 2D fighter. It's cartoonish, very cartoony looking. As a fighting game, the controller's buttons have their own respective actions. While characters are able to perform combat on their own, they are also able to call their personas to assist them during battles. Through button combinations, characters are able to perform a series of special attacks as well as defend themselves for a prolonged time. It looks like it's a 2D fighter from looking at these pictures. And the console versions will also feature a story mode and an online mode, with the former giving the player a determined amount of playable characters depending on what moment of the story the game is situated. Yeah, you know, I don't know, I've never played any of the Persona games. I do know that they were a highly critically acclaimed role-playing game for like the PlayStation. What else we got? Sound Shapes for PS3, PS Vita Hybrid, Xbox Live. The Amazing Spider-Man for Windows. Oh man, Euro Truck Simulator 2. Oh man, that game sounds so fun. Oh, no, this is a real game. I'm not being sarcastic, but this one, Darksiders 2, August 14, big game, big title. This one looks amazing. Because the first Darksiders, you know, that one came out like 2.5 years ago, around the same time as God of War 3, actually. And of course, God of War 3 was seen as the more superior game, but Darksiders 2, or rather, the first Darksiders was pretty good. It was actually a pretty good action-adventure. And it wasn't... yeah, it was a God of War influenced clone type of game, but it also took elements from like Devil May Cry, you know, even what's that game? Shadow of the Colossus, you know, with the snake boss underground. So it was a really, and I think even Dark Sector, you know, with the weapon, the boomerang weapon. Darksiders 2 looks good. I'm curious to see how well the game plays and the character, especially the change in the character. It just looks like a really good follow-up to a pretty good first installment. And it's going to come out PS3, 360, Windows. So this is probably, it might be the best action-adventure game of the year. And it's a good timing, too. Good timing because it's in the middle of this, you know, the summer 2012. There's no like God of War related games coming out. You know, it'd be a different story if it came out around the same time as like Ascension or something, you know what I mean? So I think that God of War 3 took a little bit away from like the hype, or at least the atmosphere of Darksiders, the first one, you know, in early 2010. So at least this time around there's no direct competition. The last story for the Wii, Papo and Yo for the PSN. Sleeping Dogs. Oh, this is another big game, Sleeping Dogs. Which is, this game is essentially True Crime Hong Kong, right? It's an open world crime drama video game developed by United Front Games in conjunction with Square Enix London Studios. And this game looks pretty damn good. I mean, I gotta be honest. It's a reboot to the True Crime series. Open world style game. Should be a third-person shooter, obviously. Yeah, I mean, I haven't played I had True Crime New York. I thought that was a pretty darn good third-person shooter. Actually, I actually like that game. There's gonna be a free-running aspect of the game. Wow, that sounds pretty sweet. Played as an over-the-shoulder, third-person perspective action-adventure game with RPG elements, or role-playing elements, rather. You control Wei Shen, a Chinese-American police officer. He goes undercover, infiltrating triads. The combat system heavily revolves around hand-to-hand fighting, with strong influences from Arkham Asylum, Arkham City. Free-flow combat system. There's a cover system allowing the player to deftly move between cover to fire blindly, aim freely, and target a specific enemy. Individual body parts can also be targeted. The driving segments have been inspired by Need for Speed. Alright, and even the several developers having worked on previous Need for Speed titles. If the player is riding a motorcycle, Wei has the ability to jump onto a moving vehicle. This game has potential. This could be a really good, it could be a sleeper hit. No pun intended. Well, okay, all pun intended. I say sleeper hit because, to be honest, it's called Sleeping Dogs. The True Crime is it's a relative hit, but not like a huge mainstream Grand Theft Auto style of game in terms of like in the consciousness of gamers. So I think that people who know True Crime will probably get into Sleeping Dogs, and you know, some new fans as well, but it could be just one of those underrated style of games, you know, as opposed to a huge mammoth, highly pushed, mega mainstream, you know, Grand Theft Auto style of game. Let's run down this list. The rest of August: Dust and Elysian Tale, New Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS, Counter-Strike, another Counter-Strike game. Wow. Transformers: Fall of Cybertron. I don't care about Transformer games anymore. Dark Souls: Prepare to Die Edition. You know, I never really got into Demon Souls. You know what I mean? I was bored by Demon Souls. I actually, I could probably get into Demon Souls. Okay, let's talk about it. It's not my favorite game. I didn't even really like it. I didn't get into it. You know, I thought it was kind of a boring game. It reminded me of like Oblivion, but in third person. Kind of a slow-paced type of game, and I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into the gameplay. I thought it was very slow-paced. That's all I can talk about. Dark Souls, Demon Souls styles of games. You know, I know it's got a set of got a big fan base, or at least, you know, a moderate amount of people that like it, but I'm just not a fan of that, like, I guess like a pseudo RPG / action type of game that's just You're always building your character, you know. Rock Band Blitz. What? Rock Band. Whatever. Lord of the Rings Online. Riders of Rohan. Do they have Lord of the Rings games still? NHL 13. Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Oh man, that's a big game. You know, the last one came out like 13 years ago in arcades. Tekken Tag, the first one, and then on the PS2 like in 2001. I mean, I still play Tekken Tag Tournament, the first one, to this day. I love that fighting game. It's one of the best 3D, not just 3D, but overall fighting game in history. Great gameplay, very fast-paced, and now it has a sequel for the PS3 and 360. Yeah, I mean, I can understand like Namco, Bandai Namco, whatever, bringing it back, because, you know, I mean, it's kind of like 13 years in the making. You know, you're sort of bringing back, and fighting games have kind of made a comeback. But like with the you know, Tekken 6 was disappointing. You know, it wasn't the best fighting game. It wasn't a good follow-up to Tekken Dark Resurrection / Tekken 5. So hopefully Tekken Tag Tournament 2 can at least bring the franchise back and get it going again. You know, like give a quality title to the fans and actually deliver. You know, you have failures like Street Fighter Cross Tekken, you know, not really delivering in terms of gameplay. So, you know, give us some Tekken Tag Tournament, some classic 3D action with some smooth, you know, tagging options. So, holy. And yeah, okay, that game comes out September 11th. September 18th, we got Borderlands 2, another big game. Borderlands 2, already talked about it. Dead or Alive 5, wow, another September release. Yeah, you know, I'm probably going to review one of these days. I have some Dead or Alive games I want to review, but the thing with Dead or Alive, you know, for the Xbox, when it was an Xbox-only exclusive, right, I can understand why it was like the flagship fighting game for the Xbox, because it was really the only one that was any relevant, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Soul Calibur was also released, but Dead or Alive kept going as a Xbox exclusive type of game, which is a cool thing. But to me, like, Dead or Alive has always been about, you know, the fan service, you know, the chicks in bikinis, you know, the busty, curvy women. The gameplay for Dead or Alive has always been very, very simplistic. It's not as complex as it does. You know, it doesn't have the combo system as Tekken. It doesn't have the complexity of Virtua Fighter. It's not as deep as Virtua Fighter. And at the same time, it's just not as... the characters aren't as interesting as those fighting games. You know, as Tekken characters, or Virtua Fighter, or even, you know, Soul Calibur. Those games have something different, you know. I think with Dead or Alive has always been like a pseudo Tekken Virtua Fighter clone, but not as good. You know, the only thing that they really do well, better than anybody else, even like Mortal Kombat, is the busty women, the women in bikinis, the big tits, the boobs, the curvy women. That's it. Which is a cool thing. I mean, I like that. But the gameplay just isn't as good. It's not that it's bad, it's just that the control scheme is very simplistic. Every character plays pretty much the same. They all have very similar... they use the same button layout for each one, and it's very easy to perform like moves and combos, you know what I mean? It's not complex. Every character, you can just kind of button mash every character and do well. So I think Dead or Alive, it's good, but it's more about the aesthetics of the game, you know, the gimmick behind it. Family Guy, a Family Guy game. One Piece Pirate Warriors for the PS3. What? An exclusive PS3 One Piece game? Don't tell me it's a fighting game. It's an action video game developed by Tecmo Koei. Interesting. Oh, wow. Incorporating elements from both the Dynasty Warriors and the One Piece series. It sounds like it might be like a hack and slash type of game. Yeah, man, One Piece, dude. One Piece is so cool, man. I don't really watch One Piece. I used to read the manga a little bit. FIFA 13, I'm not a soccer fan. Let's keep going. October to December, NBA 2K13, Resident Evil 6. Yeah, Resident Evil, man. I don't know. I mean, it's Resident Evil. The fans are gonna buy this, but I can just imagine everybody complaining once again, you know, like they did with Resident Evil 5. I'm gonna mention it again. Resident Evil peaked with 4. RE4, the top of the franchise. I mean, they're never gonna beat that game. It was like the epitome of the Resident Evil series. It was like the Ocarina of Time of that franchise, you know. It's peaked, you know what I mean? Like, other games like Dead Space has basically surpassed Resident Evil, you know? Other survival horror that's just... they have a better gameplay. Pokemon Black 2 and Pokemon White 2? What? NDS? What the... they have a sequel to Black and White? Yeah, this is why I don't mess with Pokemon games anymore, man. Ugh. Dishonored, you got a game Dishonored, Fable, The Journey, Sniper, Just Dance 4, looks stupid, XCOM, Enemy Unknown, 007 Legends, Doom 3, Doom 3 BFG Edition? Oh my god. You know, I'm playing the original Doom 3 right now for the Xbox. It's pretty good, but you're gonna re-release, or you're gonna have another version of Doom 3, like, I don't know, 7 years later? Really? I don't know, man, that's kind of bizarre. Let's see what else we got. Persona 4, the Golden for PS Vita, PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale, PS3, PS Vita, September releases, Street Fighter Cross Tekken for the PS Vita, Assassin's Creed 3, another big game, PS3, 360, the Wii U, Assassin's Creed 3, Liberation, PS Vita. This one, I'm actually more interested with Liberation than Assassin's Creed 3. Even though Assassin's Creed 3 looks more polished. Liberation just looks better because it has that female character, and it's on a handheld. It just looks more interesting to me. I don't know, I'd rather get Liberation than the console version, so we'll see the reviews afterwards. Need for Speed Most Wanted. We have another Most Wanted. This already came out like 6 years ago, man. Why? I don't get this game. Is this a remake? A reboot? I don't get it. It's the same exact title as the older Need for Speed Most Wanted. So I don't understand that. Why did they have the same exact name? It doesn't make any sense to me. WWE 13. You know, I'm done with WWE games. I don't even play new wrestling games anymore. It's, you know, it's the same game. You know, they don't really change a lot of things in these wrestling games. It's the same basic gameplay. It's very slow. You know, slight changes to the roster, and that's about it. Alright, we got Halo 4 coming out in November. That should be a big game. Call of Duty Black Ops 2, November 13. Holy crap! I mean, talk about, you know, competition, like back-to-back releases. You know, this FPS warfare. Kind of like Modern Warfare 3 and Battlefield 3 last year. It's like every year there's got to be like a couple of big first-person shooters that, you know, competition to each other. I think Halo 4 is probably going to sell more because, you know, it's Halo. Call of Duty Black Ops, Call of Duty itself has been run into the ground for years now, so obviously Halo is just going to get more props. I would assume it's going to get a higher review, it's going to get a better rating. Halo 4 is going to win this, so why do we even have to talk about it? I think Black Ops, or Call of Duty is done, man. It's just a core fan base. Whatever 9-10 million people that play Call of Duty every year, that's it. That's their fan base. Epic Mickey, this game, let me tell you something. Epic Mickey and Epic Mickey 2, The Power of Two. These games or at least Epic Mickey 2 has had like this huge marketing campaign. Ads for months and months. They are pushing the crap out of Epic Mickey. Alright, Hitman Absolution. Wow, a new Hitman game after all these years. I never really liked Hitman that much. They're okay, but I'd rather play like Manhunt, man. I'd rather have a new Manhunt. You know, and when it comes to like stealth / sneaky killing games like that, third-person stealths, hunting, serial killing games like that, assassination style of games, you know, I prefer Manhunt better than, yeah. Hitman's okay, but to be honest, it's very like linear if you think about it. It's not as like diverse as you would think. Like they give you some choices here and there, but it's just not that great. Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed. Wow, they got a sequel to Sonic and All Stars. Yeah, this looks good. Got the first Sonic and All Stars Racing. That was a good game, very good kart racer. I liked it. For the PS3, very good kart racer. And, you know, hopefully this one gets us many high reviews. Hopefully this one steps it up a notch, because as good as Sonic and All Stars Racing was, that was a good game. It was pretty much a knockoff, a ripoff of the Mario Kart. The same gameplay, you know, same mechanics, same gimmick style. It might as well be a freaking Mario Kart game with Sega characters instead. You know, it's like the same gameplay but different gimmick. Assassin's Creed 3 for Windows coming out in... What's with these late games? I love how like PC games take longer to release on the PC, and the consoles come out first. I think that's how they get their money back. You know, they got to put it on the console first to get some money. So get that, get some of their, what is it called? Their, not their capital. Whatever that word, the profit. Get some profit off of it. Get some money. What else we got? New Super Mario Brothers U for the Wii U. This now we're talking about December. Far Cry 3. Wow, a new Far Cry. Yeah, you know, it's... You know, the Far Cry games are just not as good, though. When they were stopped... when Crytek stopped making them. And then they were delegated or relegated to the Ubisoft. So, you know, Far Cry 3, it should probably be a decent game. You know, if they really tried and really developed this game to its fullest, but... Far Cry 2 wasn't as good as the original Far Cry. It doesn't have the vision of Crytek anymore. You know, and it's kind of like they picked up a franchise that wasn't theirs. It wasn't their baby. And the last game is Hawken, December 12 for the Windows PC. So it looks like the biggest games of the year: Halo 4, Black Ops 2, Assassin's Creed 3, and personally for me, I mean, you got Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Borderlands 2. Yeah, I'd say Dead or Alive 5. That one should be pretty good. And PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale for the PlayStation fans, of course. And I would also give it to... yeah, okay, Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed. That's pretty much it. The rest of 2012. And we'll see the reviews for these games. Alright, so let me know what y'all thought of these upcoming games, and which games are you looking forward to the rest of 2012. And of course, if you haven't noticed by now, some of these titles are Wii U launch games. So the Wii U is set to come out at the end of 2012, around December.